slide, go.
Hello ladies and jelly spoons, and welcome to 24K movies, TV shows, and video game reviews. It's October, ladies and gentlemen, and the 31 days of Halloween are here. We're a little bit behind, so let's just jump right in. Welcome to the Game Dojo. I am your host, the Game Ninja. This is the Ring of Power. And for the next half, I have you here for another spooky review. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there are a lot of intriguing movies we've watched lately that are horrible, some of them horrific, some of them even, there's a lot of other HOR words that come to mind. But we are talking about that 2002 classic. I think it was 2002. It's been a minute. Maybe 2006. Go ahead and check on that. Anyway, we're talking about Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, Rory Culkin, Abigail Breslin, and Signs. That's right. Full hats on, ladies and gentlemen. You can't read my thoughts. They're not coming to get me. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've never reviewed this, and I can't believe we haven't. This is one of M.Night Shyamalan'S better movies. And with M.Night Shyamalan, it's either a hit or a total miss. This one was an absolute hit. I loved it. I mean, well, there were some things you can take away from it, of course. But before I get into that, ladies and gentlemen, let me step you into the world of Mr. M. Night Shyamalan in Signs. So we're going to take a look at the trailer, come right back, and then I'll unpack it for you. The foil hat stays on. They can't read my thoughts. Let's do this.
Make geometric shapes the size of a football field.
What kind of machine can bend a stalk of corn over without breaking it?
It can't be by hand, it's too perfect.
So the aliens can't read our minds.
Oh.
Some animals around the county have been acting funny. Some of them violent. It's almost like they act when they smell a predator around.
Amman, Nairobi, Bangalore, and Jerusalem as the
Same shows on every station.
Every station?
It is the 18th reported crop site in that country in the last 72 hours.
I'm a little scared. All this stuff on TV. Joe Gills was in here talking about the end of the world.
They're staying in the shadows. It's called probing to make sure things are all clear.
Clear for what?
For the rest of them.
There's a monster outside my room. Can I have a glass of water?
Ground forces are being assembled.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was the trailer for Signs. If you have not seen this movie, I highly recommend it. This is one of M. Night Shyamalan's better films. Some of his films, like I said, are spot on, and some of them are misses. This one right here, to me, is always one of my favorites. I just watched it the other day. Every once in a while, I'll put it on just to watch it. Okay, so as usual, this is not going to be a blow-by-blow or a play-by-play for the full movie, even though we can. Basically, this small-town family is recovering from a death. The wife, mother, and sister-in-law of the Reverend Mel Gibson. She died in a car accident, and the family's recovering from it. When they're awakened, literally in the first opening credits of this movie, like, it doesn't waste any time. Within the opening seconds, they see somebody, and they believe it to be somebody playing around in their yard and on their roof. They go out to the cornfield where the sound and the barking is coming from the dogs, and they find crop signs, crop circles. I don't know if you guys remember them. They were very big, like in the late 80s, early 90s. X-Files covered them. But basically, it's seen as a hoax and a bunch of people doing it, so they kind of write it off. The next set of events, night after night, begin to get worse and more intense, to the point where they're questioning whether or not it's somebody playing a joke or whether or not, you know, there is something else going on. Joaquin Phoenix, the brother of Mel Gibson, automatically senses something else. But Mel Gibson is a man who's lost his faith. He's upset. He's angry. So he still clings to it having to be human beings. It has to be human beings. It has to be somebody doing this to us. And as the events begin to unfold, it becomes deeper and deeper that it's not an isolated event and that it's really taking place everywhere. Now, let's just start. Like Stephen King always uses Maine, I like the fact that M.Night Shyamalan a lot of the time uses Philadelphia or the areas around the surrounding areas of Pennsylvania. Definitely one of my favorites in here. Having said that, the family, the acting is amazing. Young Abigail Breslin, Rory Culkin. I love the fact that they can hold scenes on their own. Normally when you find a lot of child actors in movies, it's really just a supporting actor or actress. Like, you don't really have that lead capability. But both of them, even as young children, command a scene. And it's really good. The first scene we're met with them is with the dog acting up as the sheriff is investigating the crop circles, and the dog tries to attack Bo, and Rory Culkin ends up killing the dog with a fork, and he saves his sister. So right then and there, you're treated to a strength in this young boy, something you really don't meet in too many movies. I'll talk about that later on, because there's another movie that I just saw recently where a young child basically is the star and savior of the movie. Jerusalem's Lot, or Salem's Lot as they call it. But we'll get into that. It's another view. Don't worry about that one. Talking about signs. So as the legacy unfolds, the family realizes that this thing is either real, and at which point they're in trouble, or it's fake and it'll go away. But unfortunately, like a lot of things, when you realize too late, there's nothing you can do about it. So when the family realizes too late, they can't leave and they have to board themselves in his house. Now, let's talk about what I hate. What I absolutely hate and drives me bananas in movies is reactions, realistic reactions. If I know this coming from the man with the tinfoil hat on his head so that aliens can't read my thoughts. I know. I get it. I look like a Hershey Kiss. Whatever. I get it. So, anyway, some of the reactions are not real, and it takes me out of some scenes. One in particular. He comes home from actually seeing one of these aliens trapped in Ray Reddy's pantry, which is M. Night Shyamalan. Look, I don't care if you write yourself into your own stories. Stephen King does it all the time. It's a little bit douchey to write yourself in as a main character and the plot point and the exposition to give information in your movie, but to each is your own. It is what it is. I love the movie, so that's not here or there. So Mel Gibson, who actually sees one, almost gets clawed by one and chops his fingers off. He goes home and he's basically telling his family, like, I heard, you know, because Ray Reddy, before he drove off, said they don't like water. There are all these crop circles and these lights in the sky. They're never near water or an ocean. So I figured maybe if you're by an ocean, you're safe. So he tells his family, I hear a rumor that they don't like water. We should leave and go down to the lake, which he votes on it. Let me explain something to you. In an apocalyptic situation, I get you want to be democratic, but you are the father. They are your children. There is no voting. You get the hell out of Dodge or you all die. Period. No voting. Nobody gets a vote. This is not a democracy. This should be a dictatorship. So they vote against leaving because their mom lived in that house and they're sentimental and they want to stay there and they don't know if the aliens are hostile. Reminding you that Mel Gibson just met one who tried to claw at his face. We know they're vicious. We know they're hostile. But I get it. For sake of movie, they have to stay behind for whatever reason. But that decision takes me out. Number 2, the kids kind of hate the dad because he gave up faith. I get that. I understand that they're looking for a strong father figure, which Joaquin Phoenix, they want him to be. And Joaquin Phoenix is like, don't ever say that about your father. Like, I understand he's a stand-up guy and he's trying to help his brother. And he knows his brother is losing faith. So he's literally there as the rock to solidify his brother in this movie. So I like the fact that they play off of each other. But, sick kid cliche. Yes, there's a kid with asthma. It's always in apocalyptic movies and horror movies that there has to be something wrong with a kid. Look, I know these real diseases and illnesses exist in the world, but you don't always have to have them in a child to create drama in your movie. We get it. They're sick kids. Not every family has a sick kid. Why can't the aliens themselves be the drama? You don't need layer after layer after layer of other bull adding to the story. But I get it. You want to create tension. So I understand. But don't like it. Pet peeve of mine. So let's get past that. Sick kid. When the house is attacked, the final night where they can't leave, the doors are being hit, the windows are being broken in, hands are sliding underneath the door, and that's a good visual. I like the little 3-clawed alien hand sliding underneath the door. Great visual. Absolutely great visual. But it's at this point that you're like, hey, we got to come up with a plan or we're going to die. But Mel Gibson turns around to his son. Did I ever tell you what happened when you were born? This is another pet peeve of mine that destroys me. Talking about Aunt Edna's peach tea when you were 12 in moments where the world is being destroyed and time is a factor. Look, I get it. For sake of flashback, you want to show that there's a purpose and a reason for everything. But you're going to give us that flashback anyway to the car accident when the alien has Rory. So we didn't need this. We didn't need this, but understand it's the father relating to his child at the worst possible time. Hands are literally coming under the door to come into your house. They literally broke into the attic. They're coming in through the attic door. Not the best time to sit down and share a memory or a story. We can do that when we're barricaded in the basement or a locked place. So it occurs to them, you know, maybe we should get out of here. Kooky. And they go into the basement, which they could have barricaded. Now, I said this before. You have a huge, ginormous house, thousands of windows, thousands of ways in. You're never going to 100% proof any kind of residence like that in an alien situation, in a zombie situation, in a monster situation. It's just too much real estate to protect. You find one of the most fortified rooms in the house, and you fortify that. You take your time and effort, and you fortify that room. That way, that is where you can make your stand. Otherwise, you're going to be spread out over too many things and you're not going to be able to capitalize and you're going to end up losing. Movie after movie after movie, I see this all the time. But they finally end up in a basement where, for some reason, everything falls apart and this alien that is literally so strong that can probably do anything, can't open the wooden door and has trouble with Mel Gibson holding the lock. And Joaquin Phoenix, who's searching around for anything to barricade the door, which literally there's tons of crap to barricade the door, but he doesn't. So he grabs the pickaxe, breaks the light, and now we're in darkness. Now, I understand why you did it, but it is a cheap way of not showing the scene and drama. This is some of the best action. We need to see this. We need to see them scurrying around the room, trying to lock the door, trying to hold the door. You just fade to blackness and a flashlight that spins around on the floor to Abigail Breslin. I know the idea behind it, but this is the climax of the movie. This is what you want to show. You don't want to skimp out on the climax. This is what you really want to show. So, unfortunately, a lot of this we don't see. And then as the door is being banged on, they realize it's not trying to break in, it's trying to distract them because it's going to find another way in because they're problem solvers. And Rory is standing against the wall. Well, no, it's was it Rory? Yeah, it was Rory. And he's standing against the wall next to the coal chute, and you see the alien hand grab him. Now, it's a grate, so the alien can't come in, but I guess that was enough to terrify the kid so that he has an asthma attack, because now is the time the asthma attack comes in and he can't breathe, and we go through this whole little situation of aliens trying to kill you, but they're going to back off while your son is having an asthma attack, which... that's BS. Let's just face it. There should be a siege. Joaquin Phoenix can fight them off while Mel Gibson takes care of the son and his daughter. Like, we could have had that, but I know the stalemate and the standoff didn't have to happen because you planned this all to be a certain way. So anyway, he talks him through his asthma attack. No, it's not how lungs function. If you believe you can breathe, you can breathe. That's not how an asthma attack works, dog. If he's as truly as sick and as bad with asthma as you say he is, there's no air getting into his lungs. Talking to him and talking him through it is not going to help. I had asthma really bad as a kid and sometimes still have attacks as an adult. When you can't breathe, it is like breathing through a pencil-thin straw. You can calm down as much as you want, but not being able to breathe is a real problem. And if you don't have like your inhaler, some Entyl, some Preventolin, if you don't have anything, you're going to be in deep shit because that air just will not. It closes up. So those sacs, they close up. So you talking him through an asthma attack, while could possibly be if his asthma is not that bad, but you're portraying it as his asthma is really bad. So talking him through it would not help. But anyway, all of a sudden, we get a fast forward and it's daylight, and you hear the radio, and they're like, the aliens have gone. Do you see what I'm saying? The strongest climax of this movie was the alien invasion. You led up to it greatly. You had all the intrigue that surrounded it. Absolutely amazing. But then when we get to the actual point of climax, it's just over and they left. And I'm like, we couldn't see like some of the aliens fight. We couldn't see like some scenes of people fighting back. They tell you on the radio, oh, people learn how to fight back with primitive methods and people fought them back. Can we have some flashes of this? You showed flashes of this happening all over the world. Could we see some flashes of people fighting back against aliens? Like, is there another copy of it that we don't have and we don't see, that where people are fighting against the aliens? This is the most important part of the movie. And we get radio exposition of what happened the night before. But anyway, I digress. So as they go upstairs, because they're going to get his medicine, they use the baby monitor that you hear like the... That's supposed to be their language, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, they hear that they're gone, so they go upstairs and they're looking for his medicine, and they split up. And Mel Gibson decides this is the perfect time to lay my son on the couch while I go and get something. You haven't cleared the house. I don't care what the radio says. You haven't cleared the house. Period. You haven't cleared the house. The radio said some of them were left behind. You haven't cleared the house. Where's my joint at? Where's it at? Why haven't you checked the children? Ma'am, we've traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. Get out of the house now. That's an older movie, when movies were made so much better and the suspense was so much better. I think that was called When a Stranger Calls. That was definitely one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. Definitely one of my favorite movies. Anyway, after he lays his son on the couch, he goes and gets the TV for some reason and brings the TV back in, which is he sees an alien holding his son, the same one he cut off his fingers with, you know, because he has a bone to grind. You slashed off my fingers, you know, I ain't leaving and going back. home to planet Tataris, you know, until I get some, you put some respect on my name, you understand? You took my digits. We gonna have to speak, son. So at this point is when you're supposed to knuckle up, because first of all, we heard about the poison gas. He doesn't have it out yet. You clearly have an advantage. It's 2 adults. Don't worry about the kid, but the 2 adults should be able to take him down and at least, you know, get the child away from him. But they don't. They just freeze and stand there. And then the alien sticks the little hook thing out of his thing and puts it up to Rory's face, and then just sticks the alien poison gas into his lungs. It's at this point that you're just like, okay, we need to do something. Flashback. So they flash back to the scene of the mother in the car accident, and they give us the entire scene. Like, okay, I mean, it's your movie. Okay, cool. At the climax of everything, you're just gonna slow it down a nod and give us this soft scene. So what he thought, the big twist is, what he thought his wife was spitting out as gibberish, actually was for this time. You know, he told the daughter to see, told him, you know, to breathe. He told Joaquin Meryl swing away. She told Mel Gibson to see. So as at this point, he looks over at his brother Meryl, Joaquin Phoenix, and says, swing away. Meryl, swing away. And Meryl looks over and sees his baseball bat. And it's at this time, now that he has the baseball bat, that he's going to take aim and start whacking the hell out of the alien. Now, it's funny because they said there was primitive means of fighting aliens. Aliens came here with no technology because they was afraid we were going to blow up and use nuclear weapons to destroy the Earth, and it would be useless to them. But they're afraid of water. They come to a planet that's 80% water. But they're afraid of water. Water hurts them, but you come to a planet that's mostly water. Not exactly your great living conditions you were looking for. So anyway, Merle takes the bat and he leans up and he smacks him and he drops Rory to the floor. And Mel Gibson picks up Rory Culkin, and Abigail Breslin follows them outside as they leave outside. They leave Merle inside by himself with an alien with claws and who knows God what kind of weaponry. You could not for 2 seconds help your brother fight this alien, but this is the way it lays out. So he's taking aim and he's hitting the alien back and forth, and then he hits the alien and knocks him up against like a dresser, and a glass of water falls and pours on his skin, and it burns a hole in his skin. And then he looks around the room at all the glasses of water. And it's at this time we remember that back in the beginning of the movie, for some reason, Abigail Breslin just kept drinking half cups of water, and then leaving them behind. This one has an amoeba. That one has a hair in it. I don't like the way this one tastes. This one's funny. She was purposely leaving water everywhere because water was going to come in handy for this exact moment right now. So it's at this exact moment that Joaquin Phoenix, Meryl, looks around at all the glasses that are lined up, and he's just like, oh yeah, it's on. So he starts smacking and hitting the glasses, knocking water into the alien. And like I said, once again, we could see the full fight scene because this is the excitement climax, but they go outside to Mel Gibson sticking an EpiPen in his son and trying to save his life, and going through all of this while Abigail Breslin looks through the window at Meryl knocking glasses into this alien. So finally, with one final shot, he knocks it out the park because he said back in the middle of the movie, it felt wrong not to swing. And he breaks the bat on the alien. And when you see the alien, I understand less is more. So I kind of like the fact that they didn't show too much of the alien, but they show it in reflections. They show it around corners. They show it in fuzzy videos. So in the TV screen, the dark TV screen, you see the alien stop breathing and laying on the floor. And then that's when Joaquin goes outside. And I'm going to give him credit. Joaquin Phoenix, he did not phone in this performance. And Joaquin Phoenix, brother, I love you as an actor. You are awesome. Maybe not so much in Joker 2. We'll talk about that later. But you know you killed it. You still killed it in Joker 2. It's not your fault that it was written that way. We need to talk with Toby Hooper. Anyway, he walks outside and he's crying and he's wondering if the kid is dead and he's doing the facial motions, and this man is going for an Academy Award. Like, if there was a best actor in this movie, Joaquin, hands down. I mean, Abigail Breslin and Rory did a great job. At times it felt like Mel Gibson was phoning it in, and I've seen you in Lethal Weapon. I know what you're capable of, but maybe that was just the character you were supposed to play in this one. So anyway, he says it's not a coincidence that his lungs were closed, no poison went in, and then the kid starts breathing and they get the sigh of relief and all is well, and you get the soft music and the family is alive and the alien is still dead in the house. They never tell you what happens. You never find out if the whole town is dead. You never get the sheriff come back and claim the alien body. We just get a pan up to the window and then it's winter. And then you see Mel Gibson's coat and he comes out the bathroom and he's dressed as a father again. He's come back to the priesthood and he puts his jacket on and he walks out, and then it's credits. And I'm kind of angry because it is an end, and I like the fact that it has an end because most movies don't have an end. But we could have done a little bit more. You spent a lot of time on explaining and expository. You could have explained just a little bit more of the aftermath, and I would like to see a little bit more of aliens in an alien invasion movie. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit more. Like, you could have flashed scenes of them all over, you know, fighting and people fighting back, and like even the book showed the lights burning up the house that you were supposedly in. Like, there was a lot, you know what I'm saying? You could show the aliens leaving your house, like bouncing, like once they realize, you know, the tide is turned and they ounced. Like, you could have showed them jump on the ship and ounce out of there, but we didn't get that either. But as far as the movie goes, this is one of the better movies that M. Night Shyamalan has made, and one of the better apocalyptic movies that I love. There clearly are better aliens movies, 150,000%. This one being one of the best that I've seen, and it's up there. It's not top, which is why I have the rating. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what do we get? Let's swing away like Merle and give this thing some sort of rating. So, let's take some stuff off the table. Can't go platinum, because it, like I said, there's been better alien movies. We're not going to go copper because it clearly is above that category. We're not going to go nickel because it's above that category. We're not going to go, you know what, gold. Gold. 24K Movies, TV Shows, Reviews gives M. Night Shyamalan, Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, Rory Culkin, Abigail Breslin signs. We give it a gold, 24 karat gold. A good watch, a solid movie, something will definitely be worth your time. It's an older movie, so there's really no wokeness in it, besides tiny, minute, minuscule things. There are some takeaways, but for the most part, it nails it. It hits his hand on the button. It knows what it needs to do, and it gets it done, and it achieves it. This is what a movie's supposed to do. The Sixth Sense, this is one of his movies that is more brilliant, that shows his depth of a director and a writer. So this one I also give greatness to that in that aspect. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on the 31 days of Halloween, while you're making your movies and movie lists to watch, and you want to have something just in there during the alien category, M. Night Shyamalan's Sign, 24 karat gold, definitely a good watch, something you can turn on, no brain required. I think it's safe now. I think I can take this off, I think, for now. Anyways, till next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take my giant Hershey kiss and my thoughts and make sure there's glasses of water all around this room so that I'm safe. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the Game Dojo. This has been 24K. Movies, TV shows, video game reviews, 31 days of Halloween. We got a lot more coming for you. Stay tuned. We out of here.